Okay, so we are live. Hello, everyone. So it's a very, very good afternoon here in the UK. The sun's out. It was really, really rainy the last couple of days, but thankfully the sun's back, and hopefully we'll all have a good bank holiday weekend coming up. So, for those who don't know me, and for the benefit of Rita's page also, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Susie Jacob. I'm a general practitioner here in the UK by background. I'm also involved in clinical management, and I live here in the UK with my husband, who's a chef by background, and I have a 15-year-old daughter. And of course, the reason why we are here today is to talk a bit more about the business, as I always do at least once a week. So, I am a very proud digital business owner, and I've been doing the business now for about 22 months, and it has been fantastic and life changing for me. Now, today, I'd like you to introduce another guest on our pages, and it's Rita. She's coming all the way from Canada. Hi, Rita. How are you doing?
Hi, Susie. I'm good. Nice to
Good, good.
you.
And thank you once again. You promptly responded to my invite, and you were more than happy to come. And basically we do these sessions, I'm sure you also do, is to educate the audience, about what we do, and just make them aware that, because usually people think, when they think of online, they think it's a scam. And rightly so, because there's a lot of scam out there, isn't it? But we'd like to put a face to our name, to make people aware that we are real people, and how life changing this, the whole business has been to each one of us. So, for the sake of both of our audiences, Rita, if you could briefly introduce yourself, and also explain briefly why you thought of joining the online business.
I would love to, Susie. Thank you for inviting me, and hi to everybody who's watching. So, my name is Rita Nair. I am originally born and raised in Fiji Islands. So, I'm a Pacific girl, and I got married, moved to Canada. It's almost 13 years now for me living in Canada. My ancestors are originally from India. I have never been to India, just the background in case people are wondering. But I do come from, I worked for 19 years in my life. I come from the hospitality industry. And I think, Susie, you said your husband is a chef. Mine is too. Yeah. We both come from the hospitality background, and the decision to move to Canada as an immigrant was basically in search for better opportunities, right? And back in those days, we always thought life abroad is good. You make a lot of money and you have a good life. But you won't know the reality till you actually experience that, right? And when we moved with a lot of dreams, and we were blessed enough, like he moved first, he was here, that then I came later, but both of us were able to start working right away. It wasn't a struggle because of the experience, the background we had. It was easy to find a job, which we are blessed and thankful even till today, because a lot of immigrants struggle for months to even find a job that in their specific field, right? So I was offered right away. I started with managing two hotels for the same owner here in Canada, in Edmonton, in Alberta, and 10 years went by. Life was good, but the dreams we had, it felt like it was still a dream. We were progressing a little bit, and then something happens, in financial aspects, we were not growing very much. It was like paycheck to paycheck. We were making enough to pay for a mortgage, for our car, pay our bills. But when we had the dream of traveling, doing things, for our families back home, we felt financially restricted. And I was working 12 hours a day. I was on call 7 days a week. My husband was doing two jobs,
Oh, wow.
and it wasn't enough. And I couldn't go and do another job because of the nature of my work and being on call 24/7. I could be called to work anytime. And being in the management position, I was looking after the operations side of the hotels, right? And if anything is wrong with the operations, everything shuts down, you know. So that was a very demanding, time consuming for me. So I thought, why not look at the online space? And long story short, I do agree with what you said in the beginning. You know, like when we want to do something online, the first thing that comes to our mind is it right or is it a scam? Like, what are we getting into? How much it's gonna cost? Can I afford it? Can I do it? A million questions were in my mind. I knew I couldn't do an online job because that would mean me sitting in front of my laptop for certain hours, which I can't commit, right? So I was looking for something that I could do on my own time, like be my own boss kind of thing. And whenever I want to work, I could. But I was also looking for a system, a plan, something there that would work for me without me being there all the time, because time wise I couldn't manage another job, like I said. And I looked at a few things. Most of them were involved about a lot of sales you have to do, and meeting people and organizing meetings. It wasn't for me. So I kept looking and looking, and 2019, 6 months before 2020 drama that the whole world faced, I was able to start my own online business using the program that we all joined. And that was the biggest blessing in disguise for me, because being in the hospitality industry, with how things were for 2020 and 2021, and even right into 2022, traveling restricted, nobody's traveling, no tourism activity, everything was slowing down. We were getting pay cuts, layoffs, forced to work from home, or even, reduce your hours and share the work, because everybody who used to do other things, and now they don't have work, and if a lot of layoffs happened, and people who were on the senior positions, they had to share the work, which meant reduce your hours, reduce your pay. And this is when I focused 100% in my business. I managed like this for almost 1.5 years, work in business, and I'm blessed to say I do it full time now. I don't work. Business is all I do. And literally, I am my own boss now. What I wanted for part time, something where I can do on my own terms, ended up being a full time where I can work on my own time. And not only that, I decide what my paycheck is going to be. No longer somebody tells me, hey, this is how much you're going to get paid for the job you do. I decide if I want to make more money in my business, I work that much, If some days I'm like, I think I made enough, I'm just okay, let the business roll for the month, let's see what happens, that too I can get to live, right? So yeah, it started from a desire to do more, to achieve more, so I can give back to my family, make my immigrant dreams a reality. But it all happened in such a way that I never thought I could do something on the online space. And I'll be very honest, I never did anything online. I had no experience. I never did digital marketing. I wasn't on social media, but I made it happen because I believe that my dreams were big enough to take that risk, that leap of faith, right? So, yeah, that's a little bit, Susie, about me. And I would love to answer more questions that I'm
Yeah.
sure you
So,
have.
wow, wow, that's a very inspiring story. And you started, but we can't say there's a wrong time or a right time. For me, it's a bit different. It all started with COVID. Although I'm in the medical field, I'm a doctor, I was blessed to have work, and I did work. But my husband, of course, was, he was a private chef. So he was changing jobs at that time, and he was about to start a new job when the pandemic lockdown stuff happened. And here in the UK, if you couldn't go to work because of the pandemic, you were paid something by the government called the furlough scheme. Unfortunately, we weren't entitled, so I was the only breadwinner in the family at that time. And the burden of you know balancing the paychecks was all on me basically, and I increased my hours, which I was able to, but that ended up with a lot of stress, burnout. And obviously, during the pandemic, I saw a lot of people dying, which affected a bit, obviously, my mental health. And I made a decision that time that I needed something on the side. Like, if this was to happen again, I don't want to be in a situation where I needed to go in for work all the time, because I don't want to bring any virus back home and affect myself or my family. And so I wanted a backup plan. So yes, and here I am. We tried a few things, but this is the best thing ever. And within just 14-15 months into the business, my husband has quit his full-time job. I am now from I was when I started the business, I was doing 5.5 days a week. Now I do just 3.5 days. Our life has changed. When I was a full-time doctor, going traveling once a year was a big thing. Last year we went 5 times. And I didn't, before, when I was traveling, I remember, you know we went to Disneyland, and we were like, saving up money. Like, I was saving up money, doing extra shifts to save up money, came back, and then did extra shift to pay off the credit card. you know Last time's holiday, nothing, no credit card. No extra shifts. I've not done an extra shift now for, I think, 20 months, over 20 months. Yeah. And that's the amazing thing about this business. And for me, less is more. Now I'm much more happier doctor. I'm more happier to do my job also, because I'm working less and I can give more. When I'm there, I can give 100%, because if you work too many hours, you are exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been life changing, just like you. It's been life changing for me also, and for the family. And we are more present for my daughter, and she's much more happier since daddy and mummy's most of the time at home. So it's been amazing. But like me and like yourself, we were all grilled into this employee mindset. And when you are an employee and when you're an entrepreneur, it's a completely different mindset, because the thing is, I feel school is rigged to and teaches you to be a good employee rather than an entrepreneur. So how did you manage to shift this mindset, if I may ask you?
Wow, it was a challenging journey, Susie, I must admit. And you are 100% right. Even in this today's day and age, like back in my days, we were taught to be very good employees, like get a high paying degree, like become engineers, doctors, nurses, go into something that's gonna give you good pay. Like that's what I was groomed in, and that's what I did. But when I started my online business and I realized that the income I'm making is more than my salary per month, I started questioning the reality. I started questioning, why aren't we taught this in school? How can somebody make more money than that high paying qualification they hold? Like you being a doctor, doctors are not paid less, when you compare your salary with somebody who's on an average, kind of job, it is still more. But if we come from this high paying industry and we still feel, starting a business of our own is helping us achieve those results, we start questioning. So I think the plus point for me that I totally didn't have to suffer that big mindset shift was when I saw the potential. I made it happen. I made in a month, I'm not bragging, it is just to inspire, but in a month, I made more than my 4 months salary. Right. And I was like, what is this? Is this like, how can this be possible? Right. That's when I started learning about entrepreneurship. I started researching more about reading, going on YouTube, looking at videos, motivational things. I wanted to groom myself the best way because when I wanted to leave my job, I had the biggest fear set. With a job, one thing we know is okay, this is how much I worked this week, and this is how much I'm getting paid. Being an entrepreneur, you can make 1,000 times more or nothing. That was the fear that set in. And I remember having this conversation with my family, my husband, that if I let go of my job, what if my business doesn't make any money in this month? How are we going to do this? But that was the risk I took because I believed in the business I am, and I was like more determined now. If I don't do sales in my business, if my business is not making money, my bills are not paid. That's the mindset I was running my business. I was 100% in. But that initial fear, like that income security, with jobs are not secure, I would agree 100%. But when you are working, you know that you worked 20 hours a week or 100 hours a week, you're going to get a paycheck. You know this. But being an entrepreneur, you could work 100 hours a week, but you don't know how much that work is going to convert into sales and how much money your business is going to make. So I started doing a lot of research on how to become a successful entrepreneur, what are some of the challenges entrepreneurs go through. So all their experiences became a learning for me. So at a very, very early stage in my business, when I made that first month, it took me months to start getting that income I want. It wasn't an overnight success. It took me almost 10 months, to start preparing for this journey where I'm able to, I'm thinking even about quitting my job. But after so many months, and doing all this research, I guess I followed what successful entrepreneurs did. And the best advice to anybody I would say is, whenever, like even for you, Susie, if you would think, let me go of my career of being a practitioner, being a doctor, and transition to a full-time digital business owner, or whatever situation it is, the challenge will be there. You'll be like, okay, now I have to work twice as much to make sure that my business is generating the sales so I can support my family, pay my bills, and also make that profit in my business, to make all my dreams a reality. It's not easy, but you have to work on that mindset, and it's not going to change overnight. My own family said, no, take another year, don't quit your job, work and still have your business with you. Don't quit your job, don't do it. My friends said you are making the biggest mistake in your life, but I never listened to anybody. And that was the belief I had. And today people actually come up and tell me that, thank God you didn't listen to me, because after I left my job, and the situation was such that I was forced to leave my job. Like I was getting so burnt out with the layoffs, with the pay cuts. The environment was not suiting me anymore, mentally, emotionally, physically, health wise, everything. So I made that decision. Okay, I have a backup, and I started working on my mindset gradually, gradually. I talked to other people in our business community. I shared my concerns. I shared what I feel, what my family feel, the disagreement, everything. And these people I reached out to are people who's making 6 figures a month, right? And I was like, listening to how they started and the same experiences they went through, and how that leap of faith, that little bit of belief in themselves allowed them to achieve so much. So yeah, I did all that. I faced all the challenges, but I had to work a lot on my mindset. It's not easy, but if you are connected with the right people, it will definitely help you. But if I was just on my own, I would still be working at my job, because my family told me don't leave my job. Nobody was there to groom me, right? And I had no business background. I never owned a business. I didn't even know what, and I couldn't even say the word entrepreneur. Okay, that is how I was when I got into the business. But yeah, it's a lot that happened, but I'm glad that that shift. And the best advice I would give to anybody who's thinking of becoming a full-time entrepreneur, online, offline, whatever your nature of work is, and you want to be your own boss and become your own entrepreneur, like entrepreneur, the best thing I could say is question yourself why you want to do this. Can you do it? How long it's going to take you? And are you willing to fail? If you answered yes to all four, go for it, because nothing is going to come in the way. Even you fail, you're going to come back up again and work, and even go harder at it, right? So these are all the things I used personally to tackle my fears, doubts, concerns. And it took a while, couple of months, 3 months for me to decide. To be honest, I'm ready to leave my job now. But yeah, it just changed everything for me. So that's a little journey I took, up and down, but it happened, yes.
Yeah, but that's like an in-depth, you just gave an in-depth, comprehensive answer to that question. Because obviously, when people start, they have a few things. For me, my journey started obviously before I started this business. So I was trying out a few things. I did property, but that was taking me still. Like I was having a full-time job, having to take annual leave to go and do property, see the property and things like that. Well, the beauty of this business is the flexibility. I do 15 minutes before work while I'm doing my paperwork, between seeing patients. I listen to the training, then come back. After I settle down, then work on the business for an hour a day, and that's what took me. And when I started, I didn't have the luxury of stopping my job because I still needed the hours I was working. But that's the thing, you don't need to stop your job. When you start, you can actually start with a full-time job, and I'm evidence for that. Rita here is evidence. She was on call for 7 days a week. I was working 5.5 days, and then we were with our full-time jobs still able to pull this off successfully. And you need that, you, like what Rita said, you need to have a big why do you need it? For me, it was the pandemic. I saw so much of death around me. People were having long COVID and suffering and not being able to go back to work. And I was like, if I were not able to work, what will happen to our house? What will happen to our income? We lose everything. So I knew from that experience that it was imperative that we all have a backup plan. And yes, with AI and cheaper alternatives coming up, no job is secure. About 225 of my colleagues were laid off a couple of months ago, doctors, because now there's a lot of AI in health tech also, and also we have other healthcare allied professionals able to do a lot of things that doctors are able to do. So there's no safe or secure. If you're thinking your job is secure, you know you will be in for a shock, really. That even so, any kind of high paying job is also not secure. So what is your security is the biggest question. So you have to question yourself, like exactly what you said. Then obviously, podcast, books, read a lot of books, podcasts, people who are there. Don't, obviously, even my father used to say don't spend a lot of money. I know you're doing this, but don't waste your money, don't spend a lot of money. But respectfully, I didn't listen to him, because he's not an entrepreneur, he's not a businessman, he was a banker, retired banker, and he's living off his savings. And I wanted to only follow a person who's actually reached the level where I'm striving for. So don't listen to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, but listen to the people who are already there. And that's what exactly Rita did. And the best thing is, it's very difficult to do it alone, and that's why our community is really good, because we have mentors, we have coaches who are like, they're there for you, and we are just sometimes just a phone call away if you have any questions, queries. And then we are a very massive community, so you have surrounded with like-minded people, and you have a blueprint that has built thousands and thousands of successful business owners. So you have all the things that's necessary. We do mindset training, we have accountability partners, mentors, coaches, weekly masterminds, unheard of really, because I've done a few programs before and I'm like, weekly masterminds for life, it's kind of unheard of in any other program. But all the training that you need for a lifetime, and you can pass, because this is a legit business, you can pass this to your children. So how amazing is all this kind of thing? And it's all how we all started is we all did one thing. Even though we were scared, we weren't 100% sure, we took action. We took that leap of faith and we took action. And that's why, and I am so glad that I made that decision afraid. And here we both are. So it was lovely to talk to you today, Rita. So before we close, is there any final words you'd like to tell our audience?
It was definitely nice connecting with you, Susie. And I think we said a lot today that in itself is very inspiring and motivating to people to just see two individuals with high paying jobs and how things changed and how we realized, we need a backup and the journey. It's a learning on its own, and this is why we do this session, guys, because we are not here to convince you. We are here to educate you. We are here to share our experiences, our journey on the online space. And by doing so, we'll be happy to connect with anybody who connects with us and they are happy to take a look at what we do and they're interested in getting that guidance and support to take that journey, take that leap of faith yourself, and go out there and see what is possible for you, And through our program, we provide this tested and proven system that's not just made for a certain kind of people, certain group of people. It's not just made for people with high paying jobs or whatever. I work with people in all different ages. As long as you are 19 to 21 years and above, you can join the program and get your business set up. I work with young people. I work with somebody who just celebrated her 60th birthday, and she came and she achieved a great milestone in her business too last week, right? And I want to end by saying that when I did a call with her, because we usually do coaching calls. Being a coach, we, talk to people who join our program and we guide them. That's another story. But when I did her coaching call, she told me, "Look, I'm a very difficult learner. I'm soon going to be 60. I have no idea about the online space. I don't know. I'm not a technical person. I don't even know how to copy paste." So she said, "I am willing to invest to start my online business. I'm willing to take the journey because I don't want to work anymore." And she's an immigrant, but she's like a work, or she's on a work permit, right? So she's working, staying away from her husband, her children, her grandkids to support them financially. And she's like, "I'm done." And today, she's doing go lives, she's recording videos, she's advertising on social media. And I remember sending her screenshots. "Hey, this is where you click to copy. This is how you copy. This is how you paste. And today, she's rocking her online business. She's very close to leaving her job and going back to her family. And to me, I want to end by saying this, like, age is just a number. Your situation in life is temporary, okay? If you are willing to change your life, you'll do anything. And failure, you failed a lot. you may be struggling, it's not the end. You can change your story, and it will only change if you make a change. And my last word is, if what you are doing is not helping you achieve the results, don't change your goals, change your action, and trust me, your goals is just one action away from becoming a reality. And if this inspired you enough and you are like, where do I sign up? What do I do? How do I get that information? You can connect with us, comment below this video here. We'll get in touch with you, and simply go sign up on our website, take that free information, and reach out to us if you have any questions. We'll be happy to help you learn and decide and get started on your own online journey. So that's all from me, Susie, and I appreciate the time, and thank you for inviting me. It was very nice talking to you today.
Wow, wow, that was amazing wrap up. So yes, connect with us, guys. If this has inspired you, don't be left alone, lonely, be left behind, because a lot of changes are going to come in the future. So let us, and instead of being afraid of the future, just grab onto the future and move with it. And we are here to guide you and support you. Once again, thanks, Rita, and have a lovely rest of the day to our audience wherever you're watching. Stay blessed. Bye for now.